Hello, so here we are in the beautiful San Francisco, where I've now been living for 6 weeks and absolutely love it. And right now, crikey, it's a really nice view. So right behind me is Buena Vista Park. So we're sort of right at the top of the city on one of the sides. Such a beautiful area, I love it. And it might be a bit overexposed. See if I can fix that for you. But over there's just sort of the whole city out before, and then you can see there's actually sort of almost like a mountain landscape over there. So it's just absolutely gorgeous. I live in this area, not this neighborhood, but there's a sort of a whole collection of neighborhoods around here, and I love all of them. And so today we're going to be talking about something that I created called language sprints. It's not the most original idea. It may already exist. Maybe someone else gave it a different name, but it's certainly a concept that I created for myself in my own language learning strategy. And so I thought it'd be nice to take you guys on a steep walk up Buena Vista Park, and we'll talk about today's topic. All right, so what is a language sprint? So language sprints are extremely useful, not just in language learning, but actually also in various parts of your life. And I have to say, just a quick side note, one of the really nice things about my book, I've been overwhelmed by the positive feedback on the book, and it actually was just featured in a book club with Polyglot Progress, which is a YouTube channel which is quite a bit larger than mine, and they did like a 1-hour book review, which was really surprising. I had no idea. But so I've had lots of different feedback that's been really just heartwarming. But one of the things that loads of people have told me is that, like, hey, look, a lot of the tips that you give, a lot of the strategies and processes that you've created, like, they're really, really useful in other aspects of my life, not just language learning, which is really cool. And I think today's topic, language sprints, is another one of those things that is incredibly useful, not just in language learning. So it's very good for when you sort of fall off the boat, you lose your rhythm, and you decide you want to get back on track. So a really good example is when you haven't done something for a long time that you promised yourself you would do, and getting back on the boat, it just seems like a really steep staircase to climb. And so more and more time goes on, and you haven't done that thing that you told yourself you would do. So in language learning, that could be, let's say you're a polyglot, okay? And you're studying 4 languages. So maybe you told yourself, like I did, I'm gonna study Portuguese and German, Spanish on the side, but those are my 2 big ones. And like in my situation, in the beginning, I was doing a lot of German, and German had lots of momentum. And then later, what happened is I really put a big effort into getting Portuguese back on the wagon. And then for about a month or maybe 2 months now, I've really done lots of Portuguese and not enough German. So it sort of switched. So now I'm in a situation where I really feel like I lost my rhythm completely with German. Now, by the way, of course, I had quite a few good reasons for this. I was going through an intense job interview process. I was, teaching myself how to program and trying to pass those interviews. And then I moved 3,000 miles across the country and started in a new life where I'm now working a new full-time job, still doing. So, of course, I have many good reasons, and I think many of us often have good reasons. But the point is that I feel like I have fallen off the boat with my German. I've been feeling very guilty about it, and I need to do something to get it back on track. That's what language sprints are for. So the idea is that what you want to do is find a period of time that is long enough to actually accomplish something, but also short enough to not really totally upset everything else that you're doing, right? So language sprints are very different than a 90-day challenge or a +1 challenge, because these are quite long periods of time, and those are good for other things. A language sprint, though, what I have found after lots of experimenting, 1 week. 1 week is a very good amount of time because it fits very nicely into your sort of long-term plan. So a lot of times we organize ourselves and we keep track of time based on weeks. Also, it fits well into your calendar. It's just a very nice unit of time. 1 week is definitely long enough to sort of accomplish something big with language learning or anything else, but it's short enough to where it won't really ruin everything else. So the idea is you take 1 week and you focus on one specific thing and nothing else in that context. So in this case, the language learning context. And over there in the distance, you can actually see the Golden Gate Bridge. I just want to say every single day it hits me like I live here. It's such a beautiful place. It's just every day for 6 weeks. It's just amazing. Okay, so let's take a step back. In language learning, let's say you're learning one language. Maybe you told yourself, all right, I'm learning Spanish. I'm going to listen to podcasts, and that's my listening activity. And I'm going to read a short novel. That's my reading activity. And I want to review the basics so I can get my grammar back and really understand Spanish grammar better over time. But then let's say you've gone for a month, 2 months, and all you've done is the podcasting and the reading, but you haven't done the fundamental review that you told yourself you would do. Well, in this context, the language sprint would be 1 week where all you do is that grammar review that you promised yourself you would do. Now, of course, if you're on the bus and there's nothing else you can do except for listen to the podcast, fair enough. But could you also be doing flashcards for Spanish verb conjugations? I don't know. This is just an example, but the point is, for 1 week, anytime you can, you focus on that one activity. Now, if you're a polyglot or an aspiring polyglot, and you're studying several languages, like I said, maybe in my case, Portuguese is a language that I was really doing well with, but German really fell off, and now I lost my rhythm. So in my context, I'm going to be doing German for 1 entire week. So that means that my podcasting will be in German. That means that conversations with myself will be in German, and they won't be in Portuguese for this week, right? So it's really useful because what it does is, like I said, in 1 week, you can really accomplish a lot. And it jump starts your momentum with that language or that activity. And it's just such a good way to make sure that you do get back and get things done. And the point is, if you do these language sprints often enough, it's in and of itself, it's sort of a maintenance thing. Because let's say that I do 1 week of solid German, and then I go back to Portuguese, and for 3 weeks I find I'm doing Portuguese all over again, and I'm still not doing German. I could do another 1 week language sprint with German, and it's not ideal. But then you start to get into a longer term rotation system. So I also have processes, rotation systems that I've designed that I do for myself, which we're going to start seeing very soon in the Polyglot's Journey series. But the point is that even that is better than going 6 months with ignoring one activity or ignoring one of your languages, right? So that's what we're doing. So here's what I would like to propose. I want us to do it together. So I'm going to give 1 week. So it's going to be Monday. I'll put the date on the screen because I don't have the days in my head right now. But basically 1 week from the day of this post, we will all do a language sprint together. So in my case, it's going to be German. I'll try to make another video sometime this week where maybe we'll talk about my strategy for that language sprint. But just know that for 1 week, starting next Monday, I'll be doing German for a solid week. And it's going to really help to just get my German back on track, because that way I don't have to contend with Portuguese. I'm not making a choice, is it one or the other? Whenever I'm doing, now I will still be doing other stuff. That's why I specifically said inside of a context, which is language learning in our case. So it doesn't mean I'm not going to do other stuff. I'm still building web applications. And by the way, that's going really well, and we'll talk more about that soon. But so I'll still be doing that. I'll still be working my full-time job and everything else. But all of my language learning time, when it's time to learn languages, there's no issue, there's no debate. There's no decision. Shall I do Portuguese? Shall I do German? Should I do Japanese? No, 1 week. It's very easy. It's just German for me. So what I would love is please comment in this video and just let me know. Let me know if you're going to participate, and let me know what language you're going to be focusing on. If you're only studying one language, then let me know what activity you're going to focus on. But I really want this to be interactive. I want to be engaged with you guys, and I love it when you guys comment on each other's comments. It's always really nice when I go to the video comments and I see people having a discussion. So let's try to really build that up. Let's try to really step this channel up into being really a community, right? Where it's not just me interacting with you guys, but you guys are interacting with each other in the comments of my videos. I really want to explore over time how to continue building this channel genuinely into a community, right? So there we are, language sprints. And like I said, they're very useful in the rest of your life. So let's say you promised yourself you were gonna read every night before bed, and for months you go and you're not reading anything. So this is amazing, because what you do, you say, okay, for 1 week, my absolute top priority is that 1 hour before bed, I'm going to read, and nothing else can get in the way. So like I said, it's really nifty, because this is a great way, not just with language learning, but to make sure that you stay on top of the things that are important to you in your life, regardless of what they are.